Hey mages on the internet, my name's Matt and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be going over the commons and uncommons from Throne of Eldraine. I'm giving you what I think are the best cards from those rarities for your Throne of Eldraine pre-release. So this is a little bit of pre-release prep for you. Haven't recently played the set on the early access event thanks to Wizards sponsoring me and putting me on that with a lot of other content creators. I've got to play with a lot of the cards and it's very good because I already had a list before this and I actually changed a couple of cards. Because when you actually get to play with them, you can see how good these cards are. So I hope my knowledge here, now these are my personal choices, there's going to be cards that you think are really good, but I've got to think it's 7 commons and 7 uncommons in total that I think, if you pull them in your packs, will be very good for your limited decks ready for pre-release. So first of all, I'm going to go through my commons. I'm starting off with Gingerbrute. This is a 1 mana food golem artifact creature that has haste and is stats of 1/1. Now, why that doesn't seem, straight off the bat doesn't look good. You look at the abilities that this card has on the card as well for a common card. Pay 1, Gingerbrute can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. So that will give you some kind of evasion. If by chance that you pull any nice enchantments, you can potentially put this on the Gingerbrute, make it a lot bigger, and then it would just potentially become unblockable by paying 1. The chances are that your opponent is going to have multiple haste creatures on the field is very, very slim. They may have one, you might be potentially bigger than that creature they will have to block. This will be a potential constant threat. It also has the ability of paying 2, sacrifice Gingerbrute, and you gain life. So it has like the food token effect, will be able to gain life of it. But for 1 mana, a 1/1 that does so much on the field, Gingerbrute is great, and as it's a common, you may be able to pull multiple copies and put these in your deck and just keep attacking in, paying the 1 and getting the quick win to victory. Now when you're playing in limited and sealed and drafts and everything like that, what is always premium is removal, big creatures that can just win you games and cards that can really help you. But removal is always prime because you only get 6 packs and this is what you need to actually clear the path for your creatures or anything else to actually win the game. So Scorching Dragonfire is my next choice. 2 mana, 1 and a red. It's an instant speed card. Scorching Dragonfire deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, you get to exile it instead. Now we've had in the past cards like Lightning Strike that are really good. Now, this just targets creature or planeswalker so you can't hit your opponent. But when you're playing, your limited pre-release, people will be putting a lot of creatures on the board. Scorching Dragonfire for, it's common status. That's what I'm saying how good this card is. It is nice removal. 3 damage will get rid of a lot of creatures. And just in case your opponent pulls that, that bomb of a planeswalker, you're going to have a little way of dealing with that and slowing it down just a tad as well. So I spoke about previously that removal is good in limited prime cards like that, but also drawing cards. This is where Thrill of Possibility can really help your deck. As an additional cast to cast this spell, you have to discard a card for the 1 and red mana, but you get to draw 2 cards. You will get to replenish your hand. When you think how playable cards like Tormenting Voice are, which is at sorcery speed, this is a common instant and it's very, very strong and very, very good. The power creep on this card going from Tormenting Voice for me is just absolutely brilliant. I expect to see this in constructed play as well, but it is just as good for your limited play. Put it in there. Great card draw for red as well. Red needs this little bit of card draw, and Thrill of Possibility, put it in your deck. It's a great, great card. Now, one of the strongest colours for me in limited from Throne of Eldraine is white, along with black. And funny enough, there's not one blue card. There will be some in the honourable mentions at the end of the video, but to me, white and black are very strong for limited. Ardenvale Tactician has just screamed value. When you're playing like limited pre-releases, cards with value are very good as well. This is one of the new effects that we do have here. So you can pay this at instant speed for 2 mana to do Dizzying Swoop. Tap up to 2 target creatures for 2 mana. Now that is good as well because it can really slow down your opponent. What's good about it as well is that you can then play it from exile as a 2/3 flyer for 1 and double white. So you're going to get 2 abilities with this card. First of all, you don't have to play the tap. If you just need that blocker or you just want to be aggressive and get another flyer down, you can just play Ardenvale Tactician without playing Dizzying Swoop as well. But for me, I'd play this, slow your opponent down, potentially instant speed before they go into attacks, tap down 2 huge creatures, and then you can play Ardenvale Tactician as a blocker as well. This is a really good value card for 3 mana. Flying is great, it has evasion, and it's definitely a card that makes my top commons for limited. The next great common I've got for you is a red card. It's Brimstone Trebuchet. Now this is a wall 1/3 stats for 2 and a red, which is nice. It's a nice blocker. Has reach as well, so it's got extra value there. We'll be able to block flyers. But the ability of tap in, deal 1 damage to each opponent. These cards can really overperform, better than you think they will in limited. It's constantly doing damage to your opponent. Whenever a knight enters the battlefield under your control, you get to untap it as well. Knights for me are probably going to be the most strongest tribal deck in the format without a doubt in limited. You're going to see knights in standard everywhere, limited and constructed, and this will work very well. If you manage to pull some extra knights, this card will just be perfect for you. Constantly doing 1 damage, being able to potentially block flyers and just block normal creatures as well. And potentially you could do it in twice a turn. Do it in your upkeep, tap, play a knight, do it again. Really strong. Brimstone Trebuchet, definitely a super strong card for common. Put it in your deck if you want to play red. So now we're going to what I think is some of the prime removal in limited from Throne of Eldraine, and that's Bake into a Pie. Perfectly named for this set as well, really nice. 2 double black, destroy target creature. No, it'll just destroy any creature on the field. There's no stipulations with this card. Create a food token as well. So for that 4 mana at instant speed, you're going to be able to destroy something and then have your artifact food token that you can pay 2, sack and gain 3 life as well. So this is proper removal. Maybe this will see a touch of constructed play, maybe as a one-off. I saw it in the pre-release event. I did see people playing this. And I think for limited, 4 mana, great removal. Black always has great removal, and there's no downside with this either. You're not going to be losing life. You're not, doing anything else that black normally does and taxes you. This is a good card, and definitely at the top of my removal spells for limited in Throne of Eldraine. So the last comment I'm going for is a lovely beta. This is a really strong card. Fierce Witch Stalker, 2 double green. It's a 4/4 wolf with trample. It's going to help with that wolf tribal. When Fierce Witch Stalker enters the battlefield, you get to create a food token as well. So the food tokens, like I just said, pay 2, sack that artifact, gain 3 life. This is a beta. Get multiple of these in your deck. This is, to me, the common it's the rare common. It's going to be such a strong card. A 4/4 with trample for 4. The stats on that are absolutely brilliant. And you're getting an artifact as well. Playing big green stompy creatures is a way that I like to play as well, sometimes in limited. Red, green, big stompy. I've always liked playing that sort of monster sort of deck. And Fierce Witch Stalker is going to be an absolute winner for you. So we've been through the commons now. The first uncommon I'm going to go for that is just absolute value is Giant Opportunity. Now for potentially you could get a 7/7 for 3 mana, a big giant creature. That will just win you games on its own. Now to do that, you're going to have to be running some sort of food token deck because it says you may sacrifice that to get that 7/7. 2 tokens it's going to cost you, which is still to me perfect value. If not, you're going to get 3 food tokens. That is potentially 9 life just sitting there for perhaps just to bring you back into the game. Giant Opportunity. Look at those lovely beans in the giant's hand. It's really thematic. And potentially, like I said, 7/7 for 3? I'll take that all day. My next uncommon is red and green again. It's Grumgully the Generous. 3/3 for 1 red and a green. It's an anthem type of creature. The stats are great for it. It is legendary, so you're not going to be able to have more than 1 on the field. But each other non-human creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter. So this is going to make your small creatures just that slightly bit bigger, and your bigger creatures just that little bit bigger as well. Grumgully, nice stats, and can be that anthem effect. Get those creatures in there with counters, and you can really amass a massive monster army, which is what red and green's all about. It is about big stompy creatures, and Grumgully will definitely help you along the way. We now go to white for our next uncommon, and it's Archon of Absolution. 3/2 flyer for 4 mana. Protection from white, so it's not going to be able to be removed or blocked or anything. Dealt damage, targeted by white. It has the protection, so that's really good. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller plays 1 for each of those. Now, obviously in limited, this is really restrictive for your opponent. We only run technically 16, 17, 18 lands, and you want to be playing your creatures, getting them out quick and fast and playing your spells. So if this Archon can actually slow down your opponent so you fill your hand with what you need to do and win the game, this will be a star for you in the deck. Slowing down your opponents is very, very strong. Putting them under pressure makes them think about what the cards are going to play. Should they attack and pay the damage, or should they just play another card? Archon of Absolution will make your opponent think, and is a very nice uncommon to play in limited. And now we go to one of my favourite uncommons from the set, and it is an enchantment, Revenge of Ravens. 3 and a black. You might not think this is good by first looking at it, but trust me, it is going to be great for you in limited. I think I'm probably going to build a standard constructed deck around it as well. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Calamity decks in standard are going to be threatened. They're going to be threatened at the sight of this card. This is the ideal card in limited. People will be amassing small creatures, and now if they attack, they're actually going to lose life and you're going to gain life. It's going to negate some of the damage and still do damage to your opponent as well. Super fun card. If you get it, put it in there as a one-off. It's a brilliant for a 4-drop, and it might even just win you a game. Sticking with black now. Now, I said black was really strong. Knights are strong, but so is just the colour black in limited for me. Bog Naughty, 3/3 for 5 mana. It's a fairy, it's a flyer, so it has evasion. But the ability that it has, if you're going to go down that food token route, pay 3, sacrifice a food, target creature gets -3/3 till end of turn. So potentially you can do this obviously at instant speed after you've blocked, if opponent does come into you, and then you can just -3/3 kill it off. Or potentially it's removal on a stick if you've got the food tokens on the field. Now obviously that is situational, but you're still getting a 3/3 flyer as well for the 5 mana. I really like this. It's a value card, and Bog Naughty is definitely one of my favourite uncommons. So we're down to the last 2 uncommons that I'm going to give you now that I think will be really good for your pre-releases. And that's Keeper of Fables is the next one. 3 double green, a 4/5 cat. Whenever 1 or more non-human creatures you control do combat damage to a player, draw a card. So what you're getting with this is a big stomped creature, 4/5, very, very nice stats on that for 5 mana. And you're going to get the ability to draw cards as well, because it's whenever 1 or more non-human creatures. You just need to get 1 through, deal the damage, and then you will draw a card. This is strong. Drawing cards is strong, like I said, and green needs a little bit of help in that. So Keeper of Fables is proper value for that. 4/5s, it's going to take down a lot of creatures when they block with it as well. So you've got a nice statted creature here. Keeper of Fables, 5 mana, 4/5, potential to draw cards as well. Build your deck around with non-humans on this so it works well in conjunction with it, and then you're on to a winner. So the last uncommon that I'm going to mention is Sire or Seer. I'm not going to show if I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Alyn the Lion's Claw. I really do like this card. It's a 4/4 for 5 mana. Legendary creature again, so you're only going to have 1 on the battlefield, but potentially you might only pull 1 of these in the pack anyway. First strike, whenever Alyn the Lion's Claw attacks, other creatures you control get +1/1 until end of turn. So it's not going to be counters on there, it's just going to give them a pump for a turn. But this having first strike makes that very important, which means it's a little bit easier to attack in. The 4/4 are very nice stats as well, so that deals, it's going to kill off a lot of creatures with that first strike, and it give you a little bit of confidence potentially attacking in with this to then pump up the rest of your team. I think this is going to be great as a one-off, potentially in White Weenie as well. So put this in there. If you get in a little, you're going to build a little massive army, this is what you want at your top end for 5 mana. A nice 4/4 first striker that will just anthem your rest of your creatures and then get you in for the win. So that was my top commons and uncommons for your pre-release. I really hope that my advice there will help you, potentially help you siphon through the cards. You've seen ones from me today that will work well in your cards, but it all does obviously depend on what you pull in the packs. It really does that. While this is, obviously very helpful for you, you've got to pull these cards first of all. So now I'm going to go on to a few honourable mentions as well. I'm going to start off with Cauldron Familiar. I played this in the pre-release early. Very, very good card. If you've got the food tokens, This is a draining dream. Whenever Cauldron enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So the idea of this is making food tokens, sacking it, bring it back, drain. It's going to work really well with those sort of cards like the enchantment that I mentioned earlier as well. Cauldron's Familiar is just a nice card. The next one, and it's another black card. The black cards are super strong. I don't know what to tell you. Foulmire Knight. 1/1 with Death Touch. Now, Death Touch creatures, you know, in Limited have always been very good because they can trade off with everyone's big stompy creatures. People will play big stompy creatures that they don't play in any other format than Limited, and this little 1/1 can deal with it. It can just do that 1 damage and kill it on the spot. The elf obviously has another ability as well as Profane Insight, where you can pay 3, draw a card, lose a life, instant speed, very nice, and then you just get to play the Knight for 1 mana as well. I think this is a nice value card and can definitely be put into some of your decks. Witch's Oven as well, if you're going to go down a food token, like I just mentioned with Familiar as well, these 2 cards, they just work very well together. So if you put these in there, it's a nice little combo, sacking them and then potentially making tokens, bringing them back. If you can pull multiples of these and try and play the deck that I played, it's a food token deck, it will just work for you. Trust me, I've played the Familiar with the Oven and it just works so well. So the first blue card that's going to get an honourable mention is Animating Fairy. Like I said, these are value cards. It's what I look for when I'm playing Limited as well. Removal, card draw, big creatures, and value. And this fairy has Bring to Life a 3 mana. Target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact creature with 4 1/1 counters. So potentially you can turn that food token into a 4/4, then play this for 3, and have a 2/2 flyer as well. So this is, you know, for an uncommon, get a 4/4 for the 3 mana and then get a 2/2 flyer. I like that. It's a nice bit of value, and for Limited, it's pretty smart. Merchant of the Veil is the last card that I'm going to honourably mention. Red card, 2/3 for the 3 mana stats. Does have Haggle, 1 mana instant speed, discard a card, draw a card, which is nice for red, like I say. Drawing cards is obviously very good for that. You're trying to, you know, fill your hand, because red is very low mana usually, and you will just empty your hand, so this is another good way to do it. And then you can play the creature as well to have a 2/3 Human Peasant that has for 3, discard a card, draw a card, which will help you even more go through your deck with this lovely value creature, Merchant of the Veil. So that is my complete list for you. I really do hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, if you missed my stream of the Early Access event, I put a video up yesterday as well. So go and check that out. That's some mono blue meal. We got some really fun wins in there. And played against some decks that absolutely battered me that were just brilliant as well. So it's not just seeing mine, it's seeing what other people were playing as well in that event. I really hope you do brilliantly on your pre-releases. Let me know. Come back to this video, comment on it, or hit me on my community page on YouTube there. Go over there. Everyone's interacted on there. It's really good. And I want more of you in there because it means, you know, I do try to answer every comment on the video and interact with the community page as well. Or just go and follow me on Twitter or anything like that. All the links below in the description. And if you want any of these cards, I've got links in there as well that will take you straight to the deck list over on Heifer Hub. And then I'm an affiliate with TCG Players. You can support the channel if you use them already. Buy the cards through them. Use my link and you will support me even further, which I'm very much appreciative of. Anyway, thanks a lot. Good luck again for your pre-releases, and I'll see you soon.